Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the class. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Can you all see the screen? Let's connect to our EC2 instance. Yesterday we have seen how to create an AWS account, how to create an EC2 instance, how to connect it in different ways and all. So I'm connecting to the EC2 instance. Have you all created your account and the EC2 instances?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I have created
Okay. Good to know.
and able to.
So everyone should have started hands-on by now. Okay, so let's get started with the Linux concept. So yesterday we have seen very basic commands, right? Very basic commands of creating a file, copying a file, moving a file and all. So today let's proceed and talk about something called users in Linux, right? There is a user called super user, which is called root user, like admin user on the server. And other users are called regular users. Another default user is present. Of course, other system users were present. EC2 user is another regular user, which is created by default on Amazon Linux 2 instances, right? If you go for Ubuntu, there might be some other user, like Ubuntu user. But here on Amazon Linux 2, you have a EC2 user. And whenever you create a user, right, this user will be created and he will be added to the same group. Means whenever you create a user, a group will be created by the same name and this user will be added to the same group. Right? This group is called the primary group of the user. Right? Later on, you can add this user to any other group, which becomes a secondary group. First of all, what are these groups? Why do you need them? See, this is a Linux server, right? Where different users can log in. Correct? Like let's suppose in a DevOps team, there were 5 people, right? They may be given, they may be creating 5 users for them. These are nothing but these represent the human users on the server with which you can log in, right? So let's suppose there's a DevOps team and all of them have to have same permissions, right? So instead of giving permissions to individual user, you can create a group, add all these users to the group, give permissions to that group, isn't it? So that's where users and groups comes in, right? And what kind of permissions, how do you give permissions? We will learn that. First, let's see creating users and groups. Then we will talk about assigning permissions to these groups. Assigning permissions makes more sense for creating these groups, isn't it? When you can assign permissions to the group and manage the groups, that's where the importance comes in for creating a group. But yeah, you can create a group. By default, the group will be added into the primary group. You can add them into any other groups. A user can be multiple groups as well. Okay, and also whenever you create a user, he will be created, or else whenever you create a user, there will be a home directory created for the user under home. There is already a directory called home. Under that, a directory called EC2 user will be created. Means a directory with the same name of the user will be created, which is called as home directory. Similarly, if you create Tom, by default, a directory called Tom will be created under home. This is called Tom users home directory. Means if Tom is installing anything or Tom is like when you log in with Tom, this is the default directory he will be logged in, right? Now let's create the users and see like how it works. See, we have got EC2 user, and EC2 user doesn't have any password by default. We can create the password. And also, EC2 user may not have all permissions, right? So if you want to give, or else if you want to run with the root user permissions, you can run with sudo. Sudo means you are running EC2, some command with root user privileges, right? Or root user permissions. Sudo password EC2. Otherwise, see if I try to, this may work because it's the same user. See, even it's not working. Only root user can specify the username. Alright. So sudo password EC2 user. Right? Changing password for user EC2 user. This is the command to set some password or change the password of a particular user. Actually, this user is not having any password. I have set the password as EC2 user. So you must be doing this as a root or else switch to root. How do you switch to root? Sudo su hyphen. Here you can see the username. You are switched to root user. If you want back exit, you are back as EC2 user. Okay, fine. Let's say I want to create a Tom user. Okay, another user. I have created password for EC2 user. But how do you create a user? Add user command. See, permission denied. You can't do that. So use sudo add user Tom. User is created. How do you know whether user is created or not? All the users will be in a default file, system file called etc password. So if you cat that file, you can see all that user. These are all default users, system users. And this is the user already there. And this is the one I have created. Whenever you create user will have this user ID, group ID, right? In serial number like 1000, 1001, and this home directory, hometown, and the shell program he'll be using. We'll talk about shell program later, but yeah, this is all the information present in here. Also, let's suppose I want to see what are all the groups this Tom was added into. Groups Tom. So Tom was into Tom user group. You can see here. Suppose I want to see groups of EC2 user. Simply groups command will do. Because I'm already as an EC2 user, if you run groups, it will show you groups of EC2 user. EC2 user is added into EC2 user group and also so many other groups. Groups, if I want to know group of any other user, groups Tom will help me understand the groups of other user. Right? And all the group information can be seen under etc group. This is another file. See here, EC2 user Tom group. These are the commands we were using. This is for creating password for EC2 user. You can't create password as a regular user. So using sudo, all that user, and if you want to add user command, but add user can need also a root user privileges. So sudo, and all the user information is present in etc password. And to check the groups of a particular user, groups Tom. If you run groups, it will show the groups of with what user you are running the command. And if you want to see all the groups, cat etc group. Can you see the font now? Right? These are the simple commands. And let's see how do you manage the groups, like how you can add the groups, how you can delete a user from the group. There were some like small things you can do. See group storm. Okay, those are the groups of the top. Suppose I want to create a new group. Group add DevOps. See, you can't do that. Run with the root sudo. Now group might be created. How do you know group is created? Cat etc group. See, DevOps group is created with 1002 as a group ID. Done. And now group is created. Let's suppose now I want to assign this DevOps as a primary group of Tom. What is the primary group of Tom user?
Tom is the
Tom, right? So now I want to assign DevOps as the primary group of Tom. So sudo user mod. User mod command help you change the group. User mod -g DevOps Tom. Right? -g, what this will do? This will assign DevOps as a primary group of Tom user. This is the group name. This is the username. So now if you run groups Tom, do you see that? DevOps is the primary. And now, yeah, see, Tom is added into DevOps group. He was no more into Tom group. Suppose I want to delete the group. Group delete Tom. Okay, I'm deleting the group. Anyway, there is no Tom group here. He was not assigned to it. Right? So Tom was into DevOps group. Now let's suppose I want to add him to other group as well. What are the other default groups? Groups command is showing groups of EC2 user. He was into EC2 user, admin group, wheel group, system group, and all. Let's say I want to add Tom to some other group as well, right? User mod. See, if I want to add Tom into admin as a primary group, I can use -g. But I want to append him to the group, not delete from DevOps group and add to Tom admin group, but I want to append him to another group. In that case, -ag admin. So what is the difference between -g and -ag? Yes, anyone, what is the difference between this and this?
It will append.
we are
It won't
admin will
remove from the
append.
existing group.
Yes, this will not remove him from the existing group. This will just append Tom to the admin. It will just append him to this group. He will not remove from the group.
Madam, can you please repeat? I didn't understand.
-g will remove Tom from DevOps group. Sorry, will remove Tom from existing group and add him to DevOps group. After running this command, if you see groups Tom, Tom is deleted from Tom group and added into DevOps group. Correct? But this command will not remove Tom from DevOps group. Rather, he will be added to another group called admin group. See, he is still into DevOps group.
First you are adding a user to the new group, and the second thing is like you're adding that user into the multiple groups.
Yeah. Here,
Okay.
user is removed from his old group and added to this group. He was removed from Tom group. See here the output. Initially, he was into Tom group. When I run this, he was removed into Tom group and added into this DevOps group. Means he is removed from existing group and added into new group. And this command will not remove him from existing group. He is still in DevOps group. He was also added to admin group. Right? So
Yes,
that's how you can add a user to a group, add him to multiple groups. And we have seen creating a group, adding a user to the group, deleting a user from a particular group and adding him to another group. Let's suppose I just want to remove the user from a secondary group. Only remove. I don't want to, after remove, I don't want to add him anywhere. So G password -d Tom admin. Right? He will be removed into this admin group. He will be removed from this admin group. Let's run groups Tom. See? Removing user Tom from group admin. He was there only into DevOps. Got it? Please keep muted everyone. I'm having echo of my voice. If you have any questions, unmute. Otherwise, please keep muted. Whenever you speak, unmute and immediately keep muted. So this is how you create a user, you create a group, you remove him from the group, you add him to multiple groups and so on. Okay, but this user and groups make sense when you talk about permissions, isn't it? You are creating groups so that you give permissions to the groups, correct? So that's where file permissions, files and folders permission comes into picture. Let's see now. You may create file at any location. Okay, I'm going to root. Slash is called the root. See, in Windows machine, like in Windows, you have C drive, D drive, and all, right? In Linux, there'll be only one path that's called root. This is called the parent directory, slash. Under this parent, under this root, you have anything else. Like if you see, this is home easy to use. This is not correct. Both are not same. Note this point. Do you see this? First one, second one are not same. Agree, everyone?
Yes,
Everything will be under root. Okay, this should be having prefix with this slash. Means it's under root. That's a parent directory or the root directory in Linux. That's called root directory or parent directory in Linux. Okay, both are not same. You have everything under root only. You have to make a note of that point. So that's called parent directory or root directory. Everything begins from there. Okay, I want to just create a file. Under this, there is something called TMP folder. That's again the default system folder. So now see, I went there. If you see, yes, it's under root. I have some file, that's fine. So here I'm going to create some file. You may use Vim editor or just touch to create a file. I'm also creating a folder using mkdir command. Let's say demo folder. Okay, I have created a file and folder. When you do ls, you can see that. If you want to see their file permissions, TMP is a folder name, Anup. Some temporary folder. It's called temporary folder, default system folder. I'm just creating a file there. You may create at any location. I'm creating a file there to modify it with the permissions. So I have got some files. If you want to see file permissions, ls -l. A -l means long list. See, long list will show you this kind of permissions. These are the permissions. See, I'm writing here. Okay, this is the permission of folder. Let us also get the permission of the file. Why I am separating, I'll tell you. This is the permissions of demo folder. This is the permission of demo.txt. Okay, long list will show the permissions of all the files and folders in the directory. And the first one is the permission. This is the owner. This is the group owner. Okay, remember that's owner and group owner. If you want to see only one file permissions, ls -l, whichever file you want, you can also do that. It will show you permissions of only that file. Okay, fine. Now, what is all of that? See, listen carefully. The first character indicates it's a file or a folder. See, this indicates this is a file or a folder. D indicates it's a folder, it's a directory.
Direct.
Okay. Then second part. This part indicates permissions of the owner of the file. Who is the owner of the file? Whoever created this file will be the owner of the file, right?
Madam, where these values are displayed, DRRWX for this file?
Huh?
I mean, for this file demo.txt, these values are not displayed, right? Whatever you're explaining.
We'll talk about it. Let's go one by one. I'm going through each part. So this is the second part, which is the owner, permissions of owner of the file. Who is the owner of this file? EC2 user. So EC2 user has got what permissions? Read, write, and execute. Okay, those are all the permissions it has got by default. That's the owner permissions. Then comes the next part, this part. And this part indicates whose permissions? Group owner of the file. Who is the group owner?
EC2
EC2 user is the group owner, right? He also has got read, write, execute, right? Means EC2 user's primary group, EC2 user. Okay. And then last part is the permission of any others.
Others.
Any others means who is not the owner, who is the not a group owner. Any others, like Tom falls under this, right? He is not under EC2 user group. So Tom have only read, write permission. Sorry, read, execute permissions, no write permissions. He cannot edit the file. That's how you have to understand the permissions of any component. If you come to this file, first one is hyphen, indicates it's not a directory, it's a file. Hyphen means it's not a, no D is present, means it's a file, it's not a folder. Okay, second part indicates the same permissions of the owner, permissions of the group owner, permissions of others, same. But default permissions of a file were different from default permissions of a folder. That's all. Same, everything is same. Owner, group owner, others. Understood? Right? Every permission, this tells us all the permissions of the file. Right? So means, see, if you come to this file, let's talk about a file. You can, the same applies to folder also. And whatever content is present in the folder also have got same permissions. So let's talk about individual file. So hyphen indicates it's not a directory, it's a file. RW minus indicates its owner has got only read write permission. Group owner means who is the group owner? Owner is EC2, and this EC2 is under which group? Which is the primary group? EC2 user. So EC2 user has got read write permissions. Anyone else has got only read. Anyone else cannot write or edit this file. Understood this, everyone? Any questions here?
Ma'am,
These
to
are
be
the
part of group
permissions.
owner,
Hmm.
to be part of group owner, he has to be owner. Is it mandatory or it can be different?
Anyone, right?
Because-
See, owner means EC2 user. Suppose I created Tom. If I added Tom into EC2 user group, I have shown you how to add Tom to different groups. Tom might be under EC2 user group, right? So EC2 user, he will have read write. But let's say there is another user, Jim. He is not under this group. He will have only read.
No, just want to understand more, ma'am. Owner and group owner, what is the difference, ma'am?
Owner is the one with which you create the file. Okay, group owner is the group of the owner. Like, see, EC2 user's primary group. EC2 user is into which primary group? What is the EC2 user's primary group? The main group.
EC2 user.
EC2 user.
EC2
That's the group owner. Maybe he might be modified, right? He might be placed into some other group also. Like we removed Tom from Tom group and we added him into DevOps group. So whatever is the owner's group, that's the permissions of second one.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So
Like
a
earlier, if
user,
you remember, Tom is there. We removed Tom from Tom group and added him to DevOps group. Then DevOps becomes the group owner, right here. Got
so
it, all of
Yes,
one
ma'am.
one question. So a user can have only one primary group and a number of secondary groups, right?
one primary group, others are called secondary groups.
Yeah.
This is the primary group of the owner.
Okay. And we see only read, right? There is no execute, right? So this file cannot be deleted or like.
Read write means he can open the file, he can view the file. That's called read. Write means he can edit, he can modify the file. Execute is applicable if it is an executable file, a exe file or some shell script which you can run. We will talk about execute thing also today or tomorrow. Shell scripting will do, then we'll talk about this.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Madam, how do we know that user's primary group? If we have any multiple groups for that user, group and
Give me a second, it got stuck. How do you know EC2 user or any user's primary group? This is the EC2 user's primary group, right? If you want to see groups of any other user, Tom's primary group is DevOps. Got it? Now, let us, tell me.
you just enter the groups, right, madam? That group shows
Yeah.
the current user groups, correct?
Correct.
Only groups you have typed it. So
Yeah.
that is in user or in a group. Again, in the Tom case, it is showing that
Tom is not a current user, right? So it will show first one user colon groups. Whereas this is a current user. So when you run groups, it will show the list of groups of this user.
Can we switch to Tom user from
We will do that.
from
We
here?
will do. Give me a minute.
Okay.
So here we are having a demo.txt, right? So I'm just modifying as EC2 user. See, I can write anything. Read, write, I can save it. Right? Means I can modify this file. Perfect. Because EC2 user is the owner of the long list will show you owner of this file. EC2 user and EC2 user group. Okay, now let's go to Tom user. I believe we have created Tom user, right? Let me just switch to Tom. To switch to any user, su-tom. I didn't create a password for this Tom. Let me create password for Tom. Sudo password Tom. Create some password. Retype the password. Done. Now I'm switching to Tom user. Switch to Tom. Password is also Tom. Okay, I am switched. Now you can see I'm Tom user. Let's go to this TMP folder. Okay, you can see the files, you can see the permissions that anyone can do. Okay, now let's try to edit this file using Vim editor. Can you see at the bottom? It tells you it's read only because where does Tom falls into? Owner or group owner or others?
Read, write,
Others.
Others means
Others.
only read. He can't write. See at the bottom. Also, if I go to insert, it was saying you are changing a read only file, means you can't edit. Like I have edited, but I can't save it. See, it tells me can't open file for writing. Right? It's not allowing me. I can just, without saving, if I want to quit, Q exclamate. WQ will save and close. Because I couldn't save, only quit. I can't save it. See? Do you see that? Tom cannot edit. He can just see the file. Because in a team, let's say there's a DevOps team of 5 people. There might be 3 juniors. You don't want to give all permissions to these juniors. Juniors can only view. They can't edit. So this is how file permissions can be restricted. That's where groups comes into. Right? Following everyone. Now
Yes,
let's give permissions to this Tom. Right? Tom is not able to edit. Let's switch back to EC2 user. su-EC2 user. Password for EC2 user, which we said before. Yes, we are back as EC2 user. Let's go to this TMP. Okay. Now I would like to modify the file permissions. Right? You should be able to modify them, and depending on the context, you may want to give permissions to some users and so on. Who can give permissions? Either the owner, means EC2 user, or super user like root user can only modify the file permissions. Because EC2 user is the owner, we can modify. I'm logged as an EC2 user. chmod will help you change the permissions. And how does it work? First group owner is defined as U. U means user or owner. Next one is called group. The last one is called O, means others. Please keep muted. I'm having echo of my voice. If you have any questions, please speak out. Otherwise, please keep muted.
The first one is owner or user?
Owner, that will be represented with U. Second one is represented with G. Third one is represented with O. So now you want to change the permissions of which part?
User.
Tom user.
Or O. Yeah, Tom.
Tom means O. So O plus
Other users
W.
permission.
So chmod command will modify the file permissions. O plus W means others will have write permissions on demo.txt. Run this. Now if you see the long list, do you see the last part has got RW? Earlier it was R minus, but now it was RW. Do you see that? Other means Tom falls under this. Means Tom should have write permissions. Correct? Let us test this.
Madam, the reason why we call Tom as other is he is not in the group, right?
He is not a owner. He is not in the owners group. Owners group means
Okay.
owner is EC2 user. What is the owner's primary group?
User.
EC2
EC2
user.
user.
EC2 user. Tom is not under EC2. Tom is not either owner. He is not a group owner also. He doesn't belong to owners group as well. He is not under
Okay,
EC2 user group.
Okay.
He is under
So that's
others.
the
So
reason.
he doesn't have write permission. So I have given write permissions. Now switching to Tom. Now I'm logged in as a Tom. Now go to TMP. Try to edit this demo.txt. See, earlier it was showing read only, but now it was not showing me. Do you notice? Let me try to edit. See, when I go to insert mode, it gave me warning before, but now it's not giving me. I could save it. Do you see that? Now Tom can edit. Understood. So that's
You gave not only for Tom, even for others also. Suppose if I give
anyone
only
else.
Tom as part of it. I don't want to give any others. Only Tom I wanted to give. So how do I give?
You can add Tom into the EC2 user group. EC2 user is already having certain permissions, right? So rather than giving permissions to others or individual users, better we manage them as a group. Already EC2 user group is having certain permissions. We could add him into EC2 user group.
Okay, we can move or append to this EC2 user group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like whatever this person is into.
Madam, in case if you
Whatever
want to
this
give
file
only,
is having.
if you want to give permission to only this file,
If you want to give.
I mean, let's assume in that group we have like in 10 members.
Your
there are
voice
10
is very
files.
low. Sorry, can't hear you. Can you please come again?
Let's say there are 10 files. out of 10 files, we want to give permission to only one file to this other member. Then how can we do that one?
We are giving permissions to only one, right? This is the command, like O plus W and the file name. We are giving file name or folder name.
Okay.
Ma'am, if we want to give the permission like O plus W plus, if we do plus R is right permission, and if we plus
This is
X,
how
we
you
do
should
the-
do.
yeah.
Wait. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
syntax. User, if you want to give permissions, if you want to change the permissions of the owner, U plus W, or if you want to remove the permissions, U minus W. U minus W file name. Only one permission at a time. Either two things you have to consider. You want to give permissions to user or a group or other, and then whether you want to add the permissions or remove the permissions. If you want to add the permissions, it's plus. If you want to delete the permission, it's minus. And whether which permission, R, W or X. Not all of them together. Let's suppose for
Ma'am,
group I want
like,
to.
like in CentOS or some, we can give like this 4 to 1, so like 7, and we can make like that the permission. So
Numeric mode
that-
also we will see. We will see that.
numeric.
Hi.
So let's
The
suppose
previous-
for this group I'm adding a permission. G plus, let's say, execute permissions. Of course, it's not executable. I'm just giving execute permissions on, it's a text file actually. See G plus X. Now if you see executable, it changed the color as well. Right? Suppose I want to remove the same permissions. It's like G minus X. You can see like execute permissions were again removed. Right? And similarly, same is the case with the folder as well. This is the folder, right? If you want to remove any executable permissions on it, execute permissions were there by default on the folder. Let's say for owner, I want to remove R minus X. Sorry, U minus X. U is a user and removing all the permissions. Right? G plus X, G minus X, or U plus X, U minus X, U plus W, U plus R, U minus
all
R.
permission means we are removing only X, no ma'am. It's like executable permissions. U minus X, right?
Yes.
But if it is for folder, if it is
Same.
for file,
Same
Same,
commands. You give that folder name or file name, whichever you want to give. I want to remove all executable permissions. I mean group executable permissions. Now see. chmod group minus execute demo folder. Group is this one. Execute permissions were removed, only read write were there. Right, this is one way. There were multiple ways you can give the permissions. This is how I remove the permissions of execute permissions from group, right? Okay, another way is chmod g equal to. Okay, I want only read write, no execute. Same thing. I'm doing the same thing. G equal to whatever permissions you want, you can write all of them this way. Again, it is same. I'm just doing the same. See? Only read write execute. Let's suppose for other also I want read write execute. O equal to. This is another way of adding permissions. See here. Remove executable permissions. Right? Suppose I want to add the permission back. I want all. So you can see. Right? Added executable. For group also, let's say I want to add executable permissions. G equal to. Right? Given all executable permissions. So this is second way to add the permissions. If you want to add
No,
multiple.
I have a question here. So if I give the full rights to the group, So whoever the user part of that group able to do the read, write, and execute permission. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay. So even 10 users are there in the group, so they can do the read, write, execution. For example, any particular development group or like they want to do some execution, so they can add into the development group. If you're giving permission to that group, so everybody developer newly added, they can read it, execute.
Correct. Any
Thank you.
question?
Preethi, with execute permission, what the user will be able to do to the file or folder?
If it is an executable like script or some executable file, they can run it. They'll have permissions to run the script. When we create shell scripts, you will see that. Okay, we are going
And
to
folder?
folder means whatever content in the folder will get all those permissions. You are giving permissions to the folder means all the contents inside that folder will have the same permissions.
Okay.
See here, all the commands were listed. Yesterday also I have shown you. And today all the groups, everything were here. And I have shown you two ways of adding permissions, right? One is this way, like a G equal to, another one is G plus R and all, right? There is another third way, which is called numeric mode. See this chart here, right? This is called numeric mode. 0 means no permission at all. 1 means execute will have 1, numeric mode. This is more widely used. Rather than any other method, numeric mode is very widely used. Like execute means 1, write means 2. Execute plus write means, see both of them, 2 plus 1, 3. Read means 4. Read plus execute. Read plus execute means execute is having 1, read is having 4, total 5. Read write means, see here, write is 2, read is 4, total 6. Read, write, execute. All the permissions means RWX. It means it's 7. So permissions can also be assigned this way. If you want to assign all the permissions, first one is for owner. Second number is for group. Third number is for others. Each digit indicates owner, group, other. Right? And the numeric value indicates 7 means read, write, execute. 6 means read, write. 5 means read, execute. So depending on this table, you can assign. Let's say here, this is available. Let's say I just want only read, write for owners. So how do we do? First one, what is the first value? Sorry, let's take this file. Let's take this file. What is the numeric mode of RW?
4 and 2.
4, 2.
Means what is that?
Read,
It
write,
is 6.
6.
Second one is also 6. Third is also 6. It is 6, 6, 6. But let's say I just want to put only read for everyone.
4, 4, 4.
4, 4, 4.
6, 4, 4. Demo.txt. Right? ls minus l. Yeah, only read. Do you see? Because we have given 4. It's only read. Right? This mode is more widely used than any other method. Numeric mode is more widely used. Right? Let's suppose I want to add all the permissions for them. So first one would be anyway 7, right? So 7, 7, 7. And the file name or folder name. Right? Oh, I have given 6 only. First one I have given 6 only.
7, 7, 7.
So it was read, write, execute, read, write, execute. I just want to modify it as 7. Hidden files also. Here I have given all the permissions. I just want to queue. Owner should have read, write, execute. Others should have read, write. How to do that? Can you tell me? Owner should have read, write. Others should have only read. Or else read, write. Everyone should have read, write.
Read, write. 3,
7, 6, 6.
Right? That is read write. Let's suppose owner should have all, others should have only read.
From 7.
766. Only read.
744.
Like
7 to
ma'am.
744. 44.
4.
Read is 4. See this, you have to refer this. Okay, read means
Ma'am,
it is 4.
4 and read write from the 4 plus 2, 6, 7, 6.
Huh?
7 plus if you want to give the read permission.
Yeah,
read
only
write,
read write means it should be 6. If all means
6.
it's 7.
Yeah,
Right? It will give for owner will have all permissions, others will have only read permissions. See, owner is having all permissions, group and others are having only read. So that's another way you can handle those permissions. Right? When do you get executable permissions? Which files we give execute permissions? What is the advantage of giving an executable permission? We will see that. Okay. We are going to create some scripts. Then I'll show you that. So this is about file permissions. Not only this file permissions, you can also change the owner of the group, right? Like see here, demo.txt owner is EC2 user, right? Let's suppose I want to change the owner of this group. Sudo chown, right? Let's say I want to add Tom as a owner, admin as the group. Actually, EC2 user is the permission, right? Owner is EC2 user, group owner is EC2 user. But I want to make Tom as a owner, admin as a user owner group. Okay, and then demo.txt. Right? Do you see that? Tom is the owner, admin is the group, owner's group of the file. Right? This is, see, this colon thing, this command will change the owner and group. Let's say I want to change only the owner. Chown. Okay, again I want to make EC2 user as the owner. ls-. See, EC2 user is the owner, but admin is the group owner. Okay, now I want to change only the owner, group owner. That also we can do with the command change group. Change group to, let's say I just want to change it to EC2 user itself. EC2 user on demo.txt. Again, it's back, right? So this is to change the group. This is to change the owner. This is to change the both. If you want to change both owner and group, you can put them in the column this way. So you can play with them. Okay, these are enough to handle the files and folders. You don't need to get into the Linux administration part. Administration part will be done by infrastructure team or else the who configure the service. As a DevOps person, you don't do administration. So this part of Linux, like just to manage the files, basic things like when you are working in a group, how do you manage it? How do you secure your files? This knowledge or these commands will be helpful. You can play around with them, try out different things, right? And also Linux is not that, yes, it's completed today. No, of course, we have few more things for tomorrow also, but it's not that just 2 days, 3 days, it's completed. We are getting started with it. Throughout the course, till the end of the course, we might be using some new Linux things as and when the scenario comes in, right? But this is good to get started with. If you get started with this, yes, you can install the packages, you can create the instances, you can give the permissions, you can run the executables, you can do all of that. As we go by, we will be using some other new Linux things or new Linux, new shell scripts and all. That we'll do as we go by. This is all good to get started with. Right?
Yeah, hi, madam. I have a doubt.
Yeah,
I have one doubt. If I am giving read-only permission for the folder, whether it will affect the permission of the files inside that folder?
Yes. If you are changing any
Suppose the file,
permissions of the folder, those permissions will be applied to all the content inside the folder recursively.
okay, to all the users, right?
Towards the
To the user where I am
yeah,
changing the
yeah,
option,
for
right?
the
Yeah, okay.
Ma'am, you showed chmod, ch user, sorry, ch owner, ch group. Is there something ch user also?
ch user, no, it's a ch mod, right? To change the owner. Sorry, ch owner to change the owner.
Yeah, ch owner is there, ch group is there. Ch mod is to change the modification of the permission. But is there something ch user? There is no user, right?
No.
Okay, sure.
See, there was something like operators also in Linux. Let's go through few operators. Like let's suppose you want to see the list of the files in USR bin. You can go there and do ls, or else from any other location also you can do ls. That's a default folder. See, there were so many. Okay. If you want to see all of them page by page, pipe is an operator which connects two commands. Less is another command. ls is one command, less is another command. The output of this, I want to connect as an input of this. That's where pipe comes in. This is called pipe operator. It will show you page by page this way. You can give enter so that they pop up, they come up one by one, right? Quit to come out, right? That's one small thing. Or else, let me show you this. History command is there, which will show you history of all the commands you have executed. Okay, history will show you list of all the commands you executed on this server. Let's suppose this history command output, I want to store it into a file. That's where redirection arrow, or else let's say out of this, I just want to find out only which wherever I have used sudo. Pipe grep. Grep means global regular expression. I want to filter because see, we might be having so many log files in reality. You want to grep, you want to search something. Grep comes in. I just want to grep from history command. I want to grep the commands which starts with sudo. See, all the commands wherever I have used sudo. And then this output, I would like to store it into a file called history.txt. A file might have been created. If you see, yes, all of them. Fine. This is called redirection arrows. Okay. Let's suppose I want to search for Tom. And I would just like to store it. One single redirection arrow is there. Let's see what is the difference. Okay, now if I do this, see what is single redirection arrow doing? It is rewriting the old content with the new content, right? It rewrite the earlier sudo commands, the Tom commands, overriding. Yeah. Whereas I don't want to override, rather I would like to append this, double arrows. Now I am grabbing the commands with sudo, and double arrows means it will append, it will not override. So if you see that now, yes, you have Tom commands, then sudo commands got appended. And that's the difference between single redirection arrow and double redirection arrow. These are all some of the operators. You have many operators in Linux. These are some of them which will helpful to grab or filter certain things from the output.
Madam,
Right?
can you have the file name as history.txt?
Huh?
Can the file name be history.txt?
You can give any file name. That's a file name I
Okay.
have given.
Okay, thank you.
You can give any name. If you give the file name, it will create a file by this name if it is not present. It's not present, so it created this file and it has appended the content there. Right? That is about redirection. I mean, some operators in Linux. We have seen user management. We have seen file management. Right? Let's talk about package management. What is meant by package management? What are packages?
Software.
Install any softwares. If you want to install any softwares, if you want to uninstall any softwares, there comes something called package managers in Linux. Right? Why do you need a package manager and what is a package manager? Package manager will take care of all the installations, uninstallations and all. Why do you need a package manager? You can just download and install, right? You can do that also. But generally, like the actual scenario in Linux is whenever you install something, it will not be all at one place. All the binaries will be in one location, all the libraries in one location. That's how installation happens in Linux. That's the traditional method or the old method how packages will be installed. Okay, in Linux. In Windows, it will be just in one place. If you want, you can uninstall from there. But in Windows, it installs in multiple locations. It segregates the whole software and it will put it in multiple locations. If that is the case, if you want to uninstall, you have to remove from all the locations, which becomes difficult, right? That's where package managers comes in. These package managers differs from operating system to operating system. Means particularly distributions. There are different distributions in Linux, like CentOS based or Red Hat based, or Debian systems like Ubuntu based and so on. Depending on the distributions, you have default package managers. It's M for CentOS based or Ubuntu. It will be apt for Ubuntu systems, M for CentOS or Red Hat, and so on. So this package manager will take care of all the installations. Like let's suppose I want to install Git. Run Git not found means Git is not there. How do you install it? Yum install Git. That's all. See, you need to have root user permissions. You may use sudo uninstall or else you can switch to root. Okay, I'm a root user now. Now you can install Git. Install Git. See, it is downloading all the software. Okay, and it will install. Now, if you run git command, it is showing lot of errors, means git is installed. It's not saying command not found. See, same way like you installed in Windows. Simple. Okay. And let's suppose, let's go with some sample packages like HTTPD. Do you all know what is HTTPD? These are the general packages which everyone should know. HTTPD or Nginx. That's called a web server, right? Or else Tomcat. This is called an application server. General knowledge. Okay, you should have this kind of general knowledge. Web server is to host some static files like HTML pages, PHP pages. You may use it. Application server is where, particularly Tomcat is where you can host some Java-based applications, right? Some general knowledge of this will help you. Yes. So let us install. Yeah, Apache's product. Let us install. I want to install HTTPD. Install HTTPD. It will ask for confirmation, yes or no. Yes. HTTPD is installed. You may run the command this way or else HTTPD version. Right? It says it's already running. Let's check the status. Systemctl status HTTP. It's inactive. See, this is again a command to check the status of the services. Systemctl is the utility with which you can check the status. It's not running. You can start it. Start. See, this will start with the restart of your system. You have to restart the server, it will start. Okay. That's a thing we have with HTTPD, but yeah, that's how you do. Let us install Tomcat. Okay. Install Tomcat. You can provide Y here itself or else whenever it asks for, you can provide here. See, it is installing Java also, which is a requirement for Tomcat. Okay. If you want to see if Tomcat is running, again, same systemctl status Tomcat. See, it's not running. Let's start it. Systemctl start Tomcat. Right? Do you see that it got started? Whereas HTTPD failed, we have to restart the server. But anyway, so it was running. But how do you know which port it is running? See, listen these things carefully. These are not mandatory, but you should have knowledge on it. See, it's showing some process ID. Everything is a process in Linux. Okay, get this process ID. Netstat. Netstat is a networking command. You don't need to learn networking and all, but remember this command. Netstat minus lntup will show you the ports on which this process are run. It is showing so many processes. Do you see? So many are there. But it is difficult to search for this process, right? Can we grab it? Can we filter it? Pipe grep we have learned, right? So
We can
netstat
use pipe less, so we can.
pipe search with this. So you will see only those, and you can see it was running on 8080. 8080 is the default port of Tomcat. Okay, it's running on port 8080. That's a default port of Tomcat. This is how you can know where Tomcat is running, on which port it is running. Okay, and also whenever Tomcat is installed, if you want to see where is it installed, where is Tomcat? Okay, it's under USR share Tomcat. USR share Tomcat. See? Again, that's a default directory. Okay, whenever you install, you get this path, and it is web apps. This is called the location where you should put your files to be hosted. Means Java developers will give an artifact like a var file or EAR file or jar file. That file you should place here so that you will see your application running. We don't have our own var file, right? Let's get some sample var file downloaded. We will talk about our own application and the artifacts there. For now, some sample.
What is the other port ID in that one, madam? Can we go to that instance? Yeah, there is one more ID, right?
That is for
8005.
internal connectivity. This is the port we need. So here is the var file, right? I just want to download it. How do you download it from any URL on Linux? wget the URL will help you download that file. Yes. So yes, it is downloaded in this var file. Done. Now you should restart Tomcat. That's what is deployment. This is nothing but deployment. I'm manually deploying something. When you restart, var file is like a zip file. It is extracted here. Means your application is running. Your application name is sample application. You can also check it on the browser. Hit this server's public IP on 8080 / you should give the application name or folder name. This one, the extracted folder name. Sample, that's a folder. You should see. But you can't see this because that port should be opened. How do you open that port? Select the instance, go to security. If you remember, we have added this default security. We did not change anything. As such, connection is there. Edit inbound rules. Add a rule for custom TCP port. Which port? 8080. Source means from where you want to connect. Actually, I want to connect only from my Windows. I can give this. Or else, let's say even you can connect. I will say connect from anywhere. Save it. Now, if you refresh, yes, this is your application. I'm giving this URL. Check whether you all can access it or not. Simple way of deployment, of course, manually deploying a Java application. Hit that URL. Can you see it or not? I have given that in the Zoom chat.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
madam.
able
Able
to
to
access
access.
that.
Simple Tomcat deployment, a simple Java application deployment. This is
Oh.
manual deployment. We will be automating this process through our DevOps. So you should know simple things like where you should deploy in Tomcat, in which location you should deploy in Tomcat. That's default. Where you should
If you're
deploy,
okay,
whether it is automated or whether it is manual, you should deploy where Tomcat is installed. Under
ma'am,
Tomcat,
can you
web apps directory. Tell me, please.
yeah,
Can you
ma'am,
revise the
can
steps
you
again, please?
yeah, ma'am.
Can you revise the steps, please, again?
I did not understand.
Can you repeat
Miss,
it again from the beginning? Like
1%, please. I'm not getting you.
ma'am,
Your
can you
voice is
explain it
so
again?
clear.
Ma'am,
Explain
can
it
you explain
again.
it? Yeah, it means like in the bond we have to in the what we did there.
We have installed Tomcat,
Yes.
started
Yeah, ma'am.
Tomcat, installed Tomcat. Okay.
Yeah,
And
that is
installed
okay.
Tomcat, started Tomcat. Okay. Then we have checked on which port it is running. Default port is 8080. With the process ID, we have understood that. Where is Tomcat? Give me this location. Where is Tomcat installed? Inside this, there is web apps. Went there. Downloaded some WAR file. Generally, developers will give this. This is the, from the code, they will get this WAR file. I placed it in the web apps directory and restarted Tomcat. I could see it on the browser. See, two things, all these steps were there in your drive. Okay, don't try to copy the commands or memorize
No,
them.
ma'am. What we have done there, ma'am, in the AWS, I need that one, like bond, and we have done.
I'll come there.
In AWS, did you open the port, right? In AWS, you opened the ports to or the IP address to come from anywhere. That is what we'd like to see.
Yeah,
Preethi, that is
the
about
AWS
security
part,
group.
ma'am.
AWS part
Public
is,
IP and security group.
we have added this port, we have deployed everything, right? Tomcat runs on default on 88. So you can get this, you can check this endpoint of your application on 8080. So what we did, where do you access your application? On the public IP of your instance. This is my instance. Okay, get the public IP, hit that on 8080. Okay, and endpoint you have to put as sample because sample is the folder it has extracted into. When you extract it, when you see web apps, this is the one. That should be the endpoint where you access your application. Means like this. Okay, right? But this port should be open to access it. Right? This is like a firewall rule. Select the instance, go to security. This is your security group, means your firewall rules. If you go there, there'll be something called inbound rules. Only a 22 is there. As such connection is open, nothing else is open. So added this rule. Click on add rule, custom TCP 8080, and source means from where you want to connect. From everywhere means you have to select anywhere. So that I can connect, even you can connect. But in practice, you should be giving which IP from where you want to connect. Understood?
So 8080 is a default port for Tomcat, or it can be any
Default
port
for Tomcat.
Okay.
These are the general things which anyone, whether you are in DevOps or whether you are a developer or tester, everyone should know. These are the basics, how an application server works, how a web server works. Okay. And yeah, so the default port is 8080, right? If you want the port, you can also change it. Like whenever you install Tomcat, okay, this is the location, right? USR share Tomcat, and in that web apps directory, go to conf directory. This is all Tomcat configuration lies. There is something called server.xml. Here is where port is configured. The external port, this one, connector port 8080. If you want, you can change it. Okay, and you can restart it. First, what you can do is you have to stop Tomcat. Systemctl stop Tomcat. First stop it. If you want, you can confirm it with the status. It is stopped. See, do you see inactive? Okay. Now go to this server.xml. Let's say I want to change the port. 9090. Maybe let's say on 80 something else is already running on my system. Let's suppose. Change it. Okay. Now restart Tomcat. It will be started on the new port. Start Tomcat. Check the status. Process ID changed. Okay, net stack. Let's to confirm on which port it is running. -lntup pipe graph 4396. See, do you see that it was moved to 9090? Meaning, can I access this? Will this work?
No.
Sorry, this one.
No, you have to add it to the firewall.
No, 8080. This is 8080. First of all, 8080
okay.
will not work. Then which port we should test?
9090.
That will not work because we have not added in security group.
9090. This will be keep on loading and may timeout. You have to add that rule as well. Or else edit this rule. Or else add a new rule. It's up to you. 9090. I want even you all to access anywhere. Now, if you come back, it should be loading. Yes. Right? That's how you can change the port of the services. Every service will have its own config file. That's how you can change it if you want. It's not mandatory if you want. Understood, everyone? Simple deployment of a Java application, manual deployment. Just
so if you only till port number, do I need to give sample as mandatory?
Yes.
Because in that port only one is running, right?
You have to give sample. That's a folder in web apps. It is extracted to this folder. This will be the endpoint in Tomcat. See, you have to memorize here two things. Tomcat is an application server where it can deploy Java applications like Java Advanced Application, Java Servlet Pages, all of them can be hosted. Tomcat default port is 8080. If you want, you can always change the port for any service in Linux or in Windows also. You can change the port. Next thing is the location of Tomcat. How do you know it? Where is Tomcat? It is under USR share Tomcat. Okay, if you go here, this is, you should know the concept like there'll be different folders. Web apps is where you have to put your artifact, like Java var file in our case. This Java file might be different formats, var format, EAR format, jar format, whatever it is, it should be in the web apps. Once you, that's called deployment. Okay, you place the file here, you have to restart your Tomcat and see that on the endpoint, like browser on the particular port, and the endpoint as the folder name. That's a default functionality of Tomcat. You can try installing this Tomcat and try to deploy it the same way like we deployed a sample WAR file. Same is the case with HTTPD as well. You need a restart of your system.
Madam, can we see for this one, the last one? Can we see for Nginx?
Nginx, HTTPD, both are same, like both are web servers. Yeah, you can see that. Status, HTTPD is not running anyway. It failed to start. After restart your server, it will start. You could also install Nginx. Nginx or HTTPD runs on port 80. That's a default port is 80. Here default port is 8080. Here default port is 80. And here it will be running on, I mean, the default document root, that's called document root location is var www.html. Means that's a folder which will be created by default when you install HTTPD. This is where you have to put your HTML files or PHP pages and so on. Like you have ESR share Tomcat here and web apps. This is the location for HTTPD. Can
Same
you
is
try
with the
out with,
Nginx.
we can do it with Nginx also.
Same,
Try
same.
out this one
Yeah,
from
ma'am.
your end. Let me install Nginx. Install Nginx. It's saying no package available this way. It is giving us a clue. Install Nginx this way. Okay, let me do it. It's Amazon Linux instance, right? It was using Amazon Linux extra packages. You try HTTPD as well, but you have to change the port number if you are running both Nginx and HTTPD because both of them runs on the same port.
Sports handle, how it can we get to know it's 80. So how do I understand that ports?
May I know who is this?
This is Raghav, ma'am.
Okay, Raghav, we have seen netstat command with process ID, right? Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
With the process ID, netstat command.
Okay.
Systemctl
So
start.
this application, right, Raghav, all of them run on some port. The documentation is already there in most cases. But if you want to see, use the netstat. I just feel.
Again,
Like a
this
start,
even
restart,
this failed.
and ma'am, we have a stop command also, ma'am, if you want to stop.
You have it.
Yeah.
We stop at Tomcat, right? You have start, stop, yes.
Stop, restart, status.
Yes.
Preethi, you will put this
You
video
need a
now, right?
restart.
Like in couple hours. In
Tell
couple
me.
hours, you will put this video, right?
Huh?
You will upload this video in few minutes, right? In an hour or 2 hours.
See, the video will take time to convert. It will allow me after some 1 or 2 hours only. It will process and it will allow me to download. Once it's available, yes, I'll put it there. You need a restart.
Ma'am, it's a very quick service. Within 2 hours, you will get the video. It's one of the best service. Within 2 hours, you will get the video. I think. Yesterday, yeah.
Yes. As soon as it allows me to download, we'll upload it. Okay, I'm just restarting this.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Madam, by default, services will run on specific port IDs, right?
Yes, on the
For example,
default
Tomcat.
ports.
Default
They'll run
ports.
on default
Yeah.
ports. If you want, you can change it.
Okay.
Like I have shown you, right? Tomcat we placed on 1990.
Ma'am, one thing with not with related means I installed ma'am VMware and in that I installed CentOS. Is this the best practice or I can install this? Means I can go with this AWS thing.
You should go with
You would
AWS
suggest.
only.
Okay.
May I know who is this?
Ma'am, this is Ujjwal.
Ujjwal. Okay. See, for many reasons, Ujjwal, if you maintain your server, we are going to have multiple servers. Okay, not confined with one. It will be difficult for you to manage multiple VMs. Also, the configurations will be different from your VM and this one. You will be stuck up with the installations itself. Installation is not our main thing, right? You have to run the pipelines and all. So first do it use the same setup like I'm doing for first time at least. When you expert master these things, then I would suggest you can go with the next part, like your own setup. Okay, try out on your own things then. Okay, I don't want you to lose some hours because of it and just stay behind the classes. You should not fall behind the classes.
Thank you.
So
in CentOS, I leave the CentOS right now. I installed everything done. So in the VMware, So I thought that just let me ask. So I will concentrate on AWS part.
Everyone should do hands-on only on the same AWS, same instances I'm using. I don't want anyone to fall back because of your own setup. If you have your own setup, if you want to try out for whatever reason, first master this on whatever setup you're doing on the class, then try out your own things.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Nice. Thank you.
Let me check HTTPD or Nginx, whatever. I'll just go with HTTPD. Okay, if you want, you can also start Nginx on different port. Now I'm starting it. See, it is started now. Do you see after restart? HTTPD started, but where is it? I don't know, right? It's not that I know every port, every application. I will use this command netstat -lntup pipe grep 3741. Okay, this is how you can check the ports. It's not that everyone should know all the applications, all the services. This is how you'll know. 80. Okay, fine. It is under var www html. That's a default document root location. Nothing over there. Let's hit. How do you access it? Hit the IP address on port 80. You should see your HTTPD. But port should be added, right? So go to the secure. This is like firewall rules. Open the port. If you allow all traffic, you don't need to do this, but I don't want to allow traffic. I want to show you how you access all of that. Okay, custom, save it. Anywhere, save it. Okay, now this is the default page. Okay, like a welcome page saying that yes, your HTTPD web server is running. Okay, and here it tells you, see, you may now add content to the directory. Do you see this? That's what I'm talking about, right? That's called document root location. You have to put your HTML or PHP files in this location. That's what it was saying. You can add the content. I'm adding some dummy file here, a dummy HTML file. Remember, this is a developer's code. You don't need to write this. This is my app, let's say. Okay, some sample HTML page, that's all. Now, if you refresh it, yes. That's a simple deployment on a web server, basic deployment on HTTPD web server. Here also, if you want to change the port, yes, you can. Okay, each service will have their own config files. You have to modify it. Okay, how do you may be asking, how do I know all the config? You don't need to know. You can Google that. Our interest is not to learn where is this file and all. Just the concept, you can change the port. Okay, there will be configuration files. Google is there now, ChatGPT is there. All of them will help you tell where is which file you should modify. Only you should know, okay, there will be a file you can modify the ports. When you modify the port, you can restart this way. Those things you should know. You need not remember these file paths. You don't need to remember all of that. Am I making sense? As I changed the port to 90, I'll restart HTTPD. Actually, you should stop at the port, then start it. That's a proper way.
My question was there, like there won't be any standard, ma'am, like 4 digits or 2 digits, because everybody using their own port numbers.
For these services, there will not be any fixed number. But when you talk about Kubernetes ports and all, there will be a range of ports which you can allocate. This is just a Linux machine, right? Here, or this is a HTTP port is 80. TCP ports are 4-digit ports. Different protocols you have.
Okay.
See, I'm adding this 80. 80 is already there, so I am accessing it. Now I would like to see HTTP port. That's called HTTP port 80. Different protocols were there. You don't need to get into that network. Just know the basic, like that's called HTTP port. Anything else, I want to add something else like custom TCP port, which is port 90. All of them comes under custom TCP ports. Now I have added 80, but this is not it. Okay, now it is started. Let me check the status. Yes, it's running on 4962. So let me grab that. process ID 4962. Okay, see it's on 90. So this should not work now. Okay, and this should work on 90:90. Yes, right? So see, the idea of showing you this Tomcat and HTTPD is to know, let you know that, okay, this is how you start, you install the package, you start the service, you can check their port using netstack command, you can change the ports in their config files, you can restart them, and this is the document root location or the folder where you can host your content or the code. These are the general things, okay, like general awareness, let's say. But if you are new, yes, it will take a little time. Practice it slowly. It's not that you should complete these things by tomorrow. These are general things. First, take up only Tomcat. Okay, if you know doing it one properly, anything else is same. Right? You can try out on Nginx, but when you are trying out on Nginx, stop HTTPD or else start Nginx on a different port. Can you try doing it?
Sure.
Where is Nginx? We have done with HTTPD and all. Now, if you see where is Nginx, you will see this. USR share Nginx. Okay. In this again HTML folder. This is where this is the document root location for Nginx. And what is the document root location for HTTPD?
Somebody.
Where
WWR HTML.
Yeah. How do you know where is HTTPD? That's how you should know.
Then we can use the which command also. Which.
Yes, you can use. It runs on port 80. Okay. Nginx. Here in my case, it's USR share Nginx HTML. This also runs on 80. Okay. Tomcat. General things which one should know. This location you should know by where is web apps port 88. If you want to change the port, yes, there is a conf file like it is under etc httpd conf httpd.conf. httpd.conf. You don't remember, you don't have to memorize them. If you do 1 or 2 times, you will memorize it. Otherwise, you can check it on the Google or anywhere. You can check and modify them. This is under Tomcat. Like I'm not writing complete path. Inside this Tomcat directory, not in web apps, you have to go one level above. You have conf. There you have server.xml. Where you have to change your port. Okay, just explore and try out them, whatever you can do. At least try out to HTTPD and Tomcat. For HTTPD to start, you should restart your server. Right? Tomorrow we'll talk about more on this, and we'll also look into some shell script tomorrow.
The way you change the port to 90, so in that case, we need to stop the HTTPD, right? If I want to try
actually,
Nginx,
you have to stop and do it. Okay, sometimes it may not work. Stop it, then change the port, then restart it. That's a proper way.
It's fine, ma'am. Like you said, parallel, if I want to work HTTPD and Nginx, I don't need to stop the HTTPD, right? Because you change the port to 90.
If you change the port, you don't need to stop. Okay, if you don't change the port, both of them will not work on the same port.
Exactly. One dedicated port is for one application, you mean to say,
one application or one service. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
If you want to run both, start them on different port. That's all.
Understood.
So is DevOps person responsible for like Linux administrative work and all?
Administrative work he will not do. These things, whichever we are learning, small things, he should have idea on them.
But
not administrative things.
Admin should have like all elevated access, right? So that's gonna given that are given by DevOps person, right?
Then no, DevOps person will not do administration on the servers. There'll be separate team who will provide you with the servers if it's on-prem. If it's on cloud, DevOps person will do, but that's not administration. We don't do.
Okay. So yeah, we are talking about on cloud. So
On-cloud
only
DevOps person.
only spinning of the servers were done by DevOps person, not
See,
the
after
system.
spinning up, we will install the packages, we'll create the pipelines, all of that we'll do, right? Not only just starting the server.
Okay.
We are starting the server, we are installing Tomcat, all of them, and we have to deploy the things, right?
Yes.
All right, then that's all for today. We are running late by 7 minutes, and that's fine. And please do the hands-on. Okay, we'll take up from here in the
Thank
next
you, ma'am.
session. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.